Welcome to the SAI Global BWise Risk Management Demonstration. My name is Andrew Cutter, and I am a Senior Solutions Consultant with SAI Global. I'll be providing you with an overview of our risk management solution today. Some key capabilities of our solution include out-of-the-box pre-configuration based upon industry standards, full coverage, management of risk libraries, heat maps, trendings of risks, risk assessment processes, managing risk response, where you accept, mitigate, transfer, or terminate the risk, along with creating risk treatment and creating issues and findings, is fully supported in our out-of-the-box risk management capability. Automated notifications. We offer the ability to streamline communications with clients, in between risk teams, transparency along the way in the risk assessment process, along with active management and oversight of issues. Now, with automated notifications, there's also email capability, so clients can receive any email notifications at any frequency you decide. We also offer state-of-the-art workflow management, which allows our clients to really simplify the risk management process, submission of risk assessments, which are based upon the inherent control environment and residual risk scores, along with creating those issues and remediating actions. In addition to all this, we have effortless reporting, which provides our clients with pre-configured reports that align to many of our clients' needs out of the box in a pre-configured format. And these are standard reports, along with having dashboard capability and metrics real-time in BWise, which provides executives and leadership and regular team members and regulators alike with assurance that the risks in the firm are being actively managed. Now, to get into our risk management solution, I'm going to log in as a user here. Now, BWise is web-based and role-based. Web-based meaning that through a URL, your users have access to our solution. And then role-based meaning that through a series of authorizations, it drives who can see what and do what directly in BWise. To get us started, I'm going to log in with Gerard. Gerard is a group risk officer who has responsibility and oversight to manage the risk management function. When Gerard logs into BWise, he's first and foremost presented with a dashboard. So let's take a moment to load, because this is pulling information from our live data warehouse. So as soon as information is entered in BWise, it's available immediately in reporting. And so now we have updated information based upon the latest risks in the firm. We're presented with a heat map. The heat map allows us to get clear views of our risks in a typical format that a lot of our clients use. It is possible to also add risk appetite or risk thresholds, so you clearly can see risks above and below your organizational tolerance. Now, in addition to that, we also have those top risks that, in this case, our risk officer needs to monitor. We have several risks by business unit or by entity. We're able to look at how the residual risk score is coming in through the risk assessment process. And then we also have trending capability, which provides our clients the ability to monitor whether the risks are actually increasing, decreasing, or remaining flat. Now, of course, all of these are hyperlinks where we can drill in at any point in time to get additional information. You may have noticed there's also hover text capability here. All right, so simply by moving my cursor, I can see and get more information like description. I can also come over to my tasks here, which are workflow-oriented items that Gerard is responsible to complete on a daily or a regular basis. I can clearly see he has several issues and actions in his queue. Now, with tasks, these are all issues that we're looking at here. We clearly see the workflow-oriented steps that each task is in. Now, if you are assigned a task, you also have email notifications. So Gerard, in this case, would receive emails to remediate these tasks as soon as possible. Simply by clicking the arrow here, we are loading up our task form. In this case, it's associated to an issue where it has a four-step process: create, execute, validation, and then close. And then also date timestamp. So everything in BWise has audit trail capability, where you're clearly able to see what changed, when it changed, and who changed it. And that's also fully reportable. Now, in this case, if Gerard does want to move the issue forward or backward in the process, it's just a matter of clicking one of these buttons at the bottom of the screen. Now, to frame the bottom of the dashboard here and what we're looking at, so in BWise, there's risk assessment progress assigned by campaign. So it is possible to have one or many risk assessment campaigns ongoing throughout the year. And you have the ability at a top of the house level to manage all those various campaigns through an intuitive and easy to understand dashboard. We're able to see all the risk assessments that are outstanding, clearly see the number of risks that should be assessed as a part of the assessment, and also the number of risks that remain open within the assessment. And then this tracker allows us to see the progress of completion. So if we do need to follow up with certain individuals or employees, of course, we can click in at any point to drill down to get more information. Now, in BWise, there's also issues and actions, remediating actions, and there's a couple of views here on what those are by priority. These are interactive in nature, so by my selecting high priority on the right-hand side here, note that all my actions automatically filter in this particular view, which is a nice feature. We also have visual indicators to show you what's near due and overdue, and again, where they are in the workflow process. Now, to create risks and to manage risks, BWise is structured with 4 tabs: dashboard, maintain, monitor, and reporting, which is very common across all of our solutions. So from a seamless user experience perspective, no matter if you're looking at audit or risk or internal control, the user experience is the same. The maintain tab in this case allows Gerard to come in and maintain his risk library, his risk universe, right, where we can see all the risks in the firm, dependent upon Gerard's authorizations. In this case, Gerard does have a lot of risks in his queue. He has the ability, again, authorization space, to create a new risk, right? So simply by clicking the plus sign, it loads a risk form. If we want to get some information on what we're capturing on a risk, simply by clicking the risk name here, we see all the properties and all the attributes of information that BWise is configured with. So there's an identifier, a unique name, a description, whether it's a key risk, an emerging risk. We have the ability to link to various business units as well as controls. So this is where you can start to understand the relationship between risks to controls and risks to processes as well. We have the ability, again, all driven off Gerard's authorizations. If he has the ability to create new controls, it's just a matter of clicking the plus sign. And then we also have the ability to drill in and look at various connections, right? So if this risk needs to be connected to various regulations, various processes, perhaps any business objectives or policies, all that's possible in BWise. We have the ability to also look at past risk assessments. So if there were risk assessments completed, what were they? There's a section here that we can expand and look at all the past assessments that were completed, along with any issues or actions over time that have been created and are managed. Maybe they're closed out at this point in time, right? Or maybe they're actually open and active. We see that whole entire list, a holistic view of all issues and actions that were created or are created against this particular risk that I'm in. Now, from a risk assessment perspective, you may also note here by selecting this row, we see 4 business units and entities, 4 mitigating controls, and actually a KRI as well. And by selecting the row, I'm able to see all relations here on the right-hand side. And just from a brief mention, a KRI perspective, we do have the ability to track thresholds and monitor those thresholds over time and provide reporting on those thresholds as well, which some of our clients appreciate. Now, going over to the Monitor tab, and again, this is going to pull information from my live data warehouse, so it will take just a moment to load. But the risks essentially displayed here are active, and we have the ability to support a risk assessment on a continuous approach or a scheduled approach. So if you have risk assessments that need to go out, say, on an annual basis, and you want them to be automatically driven, BWise has that capability. Now, in addition to that, we have the ability to create an ad hoc risk assessment at any point in time. If you based upon an emerging risk, you need to create a risk assessment. To access a risk assessment, it's just a matter of clicking the link here, and it will load. Here's our risk assessment form where we're looking at various risk dimensions. Example of configuration in BWise, right? Some of our clients want to pull in additional risk dimensions here, like technology risk or credit risk, etc., as an example. Now, in BWise, we also have the ability to look at risks both quantitatively as well as qualitatively. And using an indicator such as this allows us to drive questions that users would complete. Now, in BWise, we look at the inherent risk, the control environment, as well as the residual risk. And then based upon how we score each one of these areas, right, we are able to have a residual risk rating automatically produced. So there's values behind each one of these selections that enables automatic scoring, which is a nice feature as well that a lot of our clients use. Now, if you are also using us for other capabilities that we offer in the marketplace, like our internal control or SOC solutions, and if there are controls associated to the risks, because we are related to all those other capabilities that we offer, we're able to pull them in and link them in to this particular risk assessment itself. So if I'm completing a risk assessment, I can always come in and view any control assessments that were completed simply by clicking the link. And then finally, once my risk assessment is complete, there is a risk response section, and this is where we can document whether we're accepting, mitigating, transfer, or terminating the risk, along with documenting our rationale as to why, right? And this is rich text editor enabled, where we can bold, italicize, bullet, number. We can upload documentation, reference documentation, link to documentation, and that's a capability that's throughout BWise. And then finally, to create, again, that seamless user experience, we offer the ability to create issues and actions directly on screen as a part of the risk assessment process. So you don't need to click elsewhere or remember how to create issues. It's all integrated directly within this one particular risk assessment form. And here we have the ability to create a name, an identifier, add in some description information, add in a person responsible, track and monitor progress of the issue, etc. Of course, if there's additional fields or capabilities that you'd like to better align to your business methodology, BWise can likely do it, and that's an example of configuration and how we would tailor these specific forms to better align to your specific business requirements. And then finally, right, if I come on over to my risk management menu option here and come on over to process management, if I want that holistic view to manage not only my risks, but also the interconnections between processes and controls, this capability here allows us to look to that type of view. So now I'm looking at my entire framework in BWise, and I can see very clearly my interrelations between processes, risks, and controls by business unit or entity that I have authorizations to see. So in this case, I'm looking at a process for invoice handling. I can see very clearly that I have 7 risks. I have 12 mitigating controls. And then by selecting this particular row, all those relations from a risks and controls perspective display here on the right-hand side. So similarly, if I select process 4, now I have 4 risks and 4 mitigating controls, which then again update and display for you. And then finally, right, in the risk management solution, there's also a robust reporting capability. So in BWise, we are fully integrated with a premier reporting engine, which is SAP Business Objects Enterprise. We have pre-built, pre-configured reports in this solution that, again, align to many of our clients' requirements. And essentially, we can, let me just take a moment to refresh here. We have the ability to pull in information. Again, this is all based upon live data warehouse. Here I'm looking at a risk dashboard by certain geographic entity where I can see my entities in the US versus in EMEA or APAC, etc. I can also look at my top risk categories, residual risk scoring, etc. Now, if you have appropriate access, you also have the ability to modify and tailor these reports through our design mode. In the interest of time, I'm not going to do that today. And it is authorizations driven. However, it's also important to note that reporting can be scheduled. So, of course, I can run it ad hoc at any point in time. And then also reports can be scheduled and sent directly to my inbox at whatever frequency I decide to receive it on. Now, in conclusion, BWise does offer, again, out-of-the-box pre-configuration based upon industry standards. The risk assessment capability looks at the inherent risk, the control environment, as well as the residual risk scoring. That plus our state-of-the-art workflow management and effortless reporting really provide a very robustly complete solution for those that are looking both to manage operational risk as well as enterprise risk. That does conclude our demonstration for today. I thank you for your time and listening in. We look forward to connecting with you soon.